This is Ed, and I want to talk about long term commitments versus short term commitments today. COVID has put us in a really unique opportunity recently to really sit and reflect on what we're doing and gives us the time and space for a lot of us to act. And so during this time, we've had a lot of time to talk about racial injustice, public safety and health, economic crises, and personal challenges that come a lot with that. And a lot is being said that needs to be said with all these things for sure. These are short term changes. And the unfortunate thing is, yes, we can protest and do all these things, but at the end of the day, history shows that it takes long term commitments to change for it to last. We've had so many examples of people fighting for their rights, for their right to health, and it's continuing today, or we wouldn't be talking about it. But we have to be kind of real with ourselves and look at the crossroad and see we can't be protesting forever all day. It's not sustainable unless we're trying to head to a direction of complete anarchy, which could be another conversation. I'm not going to totally dismiss that. You could talk about that if that's your direction. But if you're really looking at long term versus short term and what you're committed to, you have to really think of what it is, what's going to look like for you. For instance, we look at environmental issues. The general person is going to do their part and recycle or make their neighbor aware of what day you have papers or cans if your local area does separate recycling. And then there's a difference between that person and the person that becomes an environmentalist, someone that studies, that does research, or is directly committing full time or a lot of their spare time into working on these environmental issues and trying to impact actual change. But you can't be everything all at once. So that's not to say that you can't recycle and be aware and be educated and speak your mind when that's necessary. But you're not going to have the capacity to be an environmentalist, somebody working on racial relations within your city, trying to change all kinds of things. You could be trying to change the rights for people around the world that you think are living in an unjust way from their government. But I think there's more people called to consider what they should be doing in their long term. You might be speaking out a lot online, and that's really important. You might be going to protests, and that can be really important. But what's the long term going to be? Because the sad thing is, it's just not going to be. We can't change everything short term. There's so many areas you can get involved in, but it's really going to take commitment and sacrifice on your end, and it's not an easy road. There's many people out there that realized the injustices that are going on in the police system, and it's the same in education. And the decision that I made to switch out of a predominantly music focused career into an education based career, it was a hard decision for me, and it's harder when you get into the field when you see so much resistance and so much challenge that's coming from the system itself. People that are discouraged will discourage you, and all kinds of rebuttals like that. There's a reason why these changes aren't happening. I'm not saying not to strive for it, but whether you're a person of faith like me or a person that has no faith, I think God, the universe, is often calling more of you to make a bigger life change decision than you're actually doing. And I empathize with that a lot because I've gone through that back and forth in my own life and how I'm using my time. So just consider, if you're a person that's really active right now, are you in the position that you should be considering what your long-term change for yourself should be? And just realize that there's more challenge and sacrifice and pain and sadness in that you don't even know that you don't know. This is Ed.